So something started bothering me. Enterprises were digitizing their processes. I started PurpleApple Infosystems in 2016. The vision was to humanize the technology. How do we humanize the technology? The AI is not to automate the processes or the task or not to replace the humans. It is to empower the humans. And for all the women who are actually still thinking that do they belong in AI? Yes, the simple solution is yes. Recently, I had a chance to go to India AI Impact Summit. And I am Amrutha Valli, a tech entrepreneur, AI consultant, cybersecurity consultant, and a startup mentor. My career or journey did not start with AI. Everything started with a small childhood habit, that is a curiosity. I used to question everything, how the systems work. If the systems were working, I used to ask why. If the systems fail or broke, I used to ask why. So, why was the question for everything? And this simple habit actually led to a way of thinking. After many years, I actually realized something that AI also does the same thing. It is a science of understanding the patterns in complex systems. And that is how I associate my journey with the AI. And before AI entered my life, actually, there is a long journey of questioning, learning, and building. I come from a very academic background. I completed MCA as gold medalist, later pursued MBA from Symbiosis University. Few years ago, I got the opportunity to do the data science and AI course from my dream university, MIT Boston. And it is not only the education which shaped up my career, it is my work experience actually has shaped my career. That work experience in the technology industry. Before joining Wipro Infotech, we were working on the technologies like DBase, Pascal, Fortran, and COBOL, which we haven't here very much these days. Because before joining Wipro, when actually I started my career in 92, there was no Internet Explorer, nor there was a Yahoo Mail. So everything, whatever I was doing in Wipro was entirely new technology for me. And then I got the opportunity to work with Data Security Council of India, which is a self-regulatory body by NASSCOM to define the data privacy and security framework for Indian enterprises. So that is another learning working with the newer technologies for me. Later, when I joined Tata Docomo, we used to work still more with the newer technologies, that is the IoT and then the mobile payments. Mobile payments were not the mainstream in India at that time. It was actually evolving. And we used to work with the technology, and along with that, we have to make sure that it is end-to-end secured. And then we used to do the security audits and then liaison with the RBI to get the license for rolling out the MVP project. Along with that, we have done multiple IoT projects like school bus tracking, women's safety solutions, mHealth, and many more. So that is how I came across multiple emerging technologies. And so we had our own set of challenges at that time, but at the same time, we learned a lot. All these innovative solutions and the Greenfield project experience paved the way to my entrepreneurial journey. So let me talk about what actually is the inflection point. The inflection point is in 2014 and 15, so something started bothering me. Enterprises were digitizing their processes, tasks, and then they were doing the digital marketing and then making the websites. So they were doing all the things what technology can do at that time. But something was very flat, that is the customer experience. And then all the 2D catalogs were there, and the customer was not having any opportunity to visualize the product before they actually purchase. They don't know how will it look like on them or in their house. So that is the same thing which I also felt many times whenever I wanted to buy something for my house. Then two questions cropped up my mind. One is, how can I use the technology to enhance the customer experience? And how can I use the technology to assist the buying purchase decision by the customer? These two questions actually made me think through what all the new technologies. Then I got to know that, okay, artificial intelligence and the augmented reality. These two are the technologies which can make the solutions so that the customer experience is enhanced, and then the customer will be able to buy the product without hesitation. So this actually is the starting point for my company. I started PurpleApple Infosystems in 2016. So with a simple vision, but it was very ambitious. The vision was to humanize the technology. And how do we humanize the technology? As I told couple of minutes ago that AI is nothing but understanding the patterns. Okay, so it cannot create the intelligence, nor it will not replace the human being. We started developing the AR and AI based solutions. So the first solution was the virtual Humsafar. It is actually an experiential travel platform where it allows the tourists to see the place virtually before actually they go. So it was a new technology at that time. And along with that, we had many features like geofencing, live location tracking, and rest of the things. But the importance was given for the experiential travel for the customers or for the travelers. And the next product which we have launched was the Try Before You Buy. The name itself says that it is trying before you buy. So the customer can actually try multiple products like spectacles, watches, furniture, wallpapers, wall decors, paintings, or anything the customer wanted to experience or visualize in their home or on them before they buy. And then we had the another product like Jewel Try Studio that was exclusively for the jewelry try, and it is a exactly replica of how you actually try in front of a mirror. And then we had something called Purple Pages, which is an interactive catalog wherein the enterprises can actually provide more information to the customers in an interactive way by just scanning an image. So all these solutions were way ahead of the market. And we had many challenges like the technologies were evolving and the internet was very slow. And then there was the capability of the mobile capability was very less. So they were not able to actually execute all these programs. But yes, so that is how we actually face the challenges, and then we have overcome it also. And now I can see that as a global phenomenon of experiential commerce. This actually reinforced a thought which I believe very strongly, that the AI is not to automate the processes or the task or not to replace the humans, it is to empower the humans. And then coming back to AI, I'm talking more of AI. So let me break through what is AI. These days, AI has become a buzzword. It is not a magic word, nor it is a robot taking over the world. It is nothing but understanding the patterns to give you the better decisions and then better outcomes. That is where actually AI comes. AI can be used for understanding or analyzing large data sets or take the decisions very quickly, understand the risks or perceive the risk before they actually happen, and then identify the diseases in the medical industry, or it can be in the manufacturing, it can be used for multiple industries. So, AI is not going to replace the humans, nor it is not going to create the intelligence, but actually it amplifies whatever you give it to it. If you train the AI model with the good knowledge and the data, then it amplifies the good coming out of it. But if you give the wrong data, then it actually amplifies the chaos. It's just like garbage in, garbage out. It is as simple as that. Now, when it comes to the AI for the budding entrepreneurs, I would like to say a couple of things. See, when I started my journey, my entrepreneurial journey, I was already having experience of 20 and 25 years plus experience in Wipro and Tata Docomo, and before that also I have seen the technology right from 92, means like it was a budding, it was very starting of the technology where we were not having anything, and then now we have most of the things handy which we can use it very easily. Okay, so because I have faced all the audits, it does not mean that I am asking you to wait for 20-25 years before you start your enterprise journey, but you have to be very clear of and what are the myths and what is the reality. Let me tell you 3 myths. So the first myth is usually people think that it is very easy to make the AI product. But actually the reality is, to make an AI product, you require the in-depth knowledge of the subject matter, whatever you are building, and lot of patience, because you need to make AI understand what you require so that the AI can actually do the same thing. Second point is, people think that it's very easy to get the funding if we make a AI product, but it is not the case. Funding will come only after the credibility, but credibility takes time. And then the third important thing which I wanted to mention is, people think that if I get or if I know AI technology or the skills to develop and it is done. No. After you develop the product, you should have that visibility. Means you need to have the network who can actually use it and then give the feedback so that you can improvise the product. So these 3 myths actually, like, you need to keep it in mind before you actually jump into the entrepreneurial journey. And along with that, I would like to say 3 more key points which actually support these 3 myths and the reality. The first one is, first create the credibility, then the visibility follows. The second point is, create the capability, then the funding follows. And the third point I would like to say that is, build a very stable system, the scaling will follows. So if you keep these things in your mind, then definitely, like, you will be able to achieve what you wanted to do using the AI. And recently, I had a chance to go to India AI Impact Summit. And then I have seen many startups who were actually showcasing their AI products, so which are cutting across all the verticals. It can be the manufacturing, healthcare, education, or it can be insurance, or it can be anything. So, but like, they had the options or the AI products for each and every sector. And along with that, one thing which I observed majorly is, India is going through a major shift. That is, till now, we were the consumers of the technology, but now we are actually the enablers of the technology. So, we wanted to be the leaders in the AI technology, and we wanted to make it as a global AI hub. And along with that, I saw there were many discussions happening in the areas of responsible AI, data security, privacy, how can we make more secured place for the children, social empowerment, human capital skill, and all these things are actually the building blocks for any AI projects. So I'm very happy to see all those discussions happening and in India, and then wherein the outlook of the people will be how actually they can use AI to improvise the world. And along with that, I saw, or I can say that India has a unique opportunities when compared to few of the other nations. So to name 4 of it, or 3 to 4, I can say that one is the digital public infrastructure. which actually is a part of India AI mission. So wherein there are few thousands and lakhs of GPUs which are actually placed at one place, and then it can be given for the entrepreneurs or for the enterprises who wanted to make the AI projects for a cheaper rate. When compared to the same AI infrastructure from other service providers, it becomes very cheaper. Along with that, we have massive data sets like AI Kosh, AI for Bharat, Bhashini, Sarvam AI, which are very, very specific for the Indian market. So if anyone wants to make the solutions for the Indian market, they can use all these massive data sets so that the AI works or functions and provides the information or executes the task as expected. And along with that, we have the youngest talent in the world. Okay, so everyone knows that India has got more than 50 to 60% of the youngsters below 35 to 40 years of age. So which is a huge advantage for us in the AI industry. And we have UPI, ONDC and Aadhaar, through which we have already demonstrated that India can make actually large scale enterprise systems across the world. And so along with these advantages, one more thing which I actually noticed is more women in the room. So more women in the room means it is not that they were just attending the discussions, but they were participating in the panel discussions. They were deeply involved in the policy makings or the frameworks and making the AI products. So that actually adds up with what already India has got to make India as a AI global hub. Coming to the women entrepreneurs, usually I hear that, okay, I'm not from the coding background, I don't like programming, or I don't know the programming, I'm from a different career or from a different domain, and all these things actually are not the showstoppers to enter into the AI field. Because AI is not just the programming language, it is actually require more of the subject matter expertise, irrespective of which industry you belong to. It can be, again, it can be manufacturing, banking, insurance, health tech, education, anything. The subject matter expertise is required. Along with this subject matter expertise, the AI projects require the ethics, privacy, governance, product strategy, customer satisfaction or customer experience. So all these things and the list goes on. These are very important to build an AI product. And I would like to say one more thing, that women are basically very good at identifying the risks. They are good at multitasking, and then they are good at multidisciplinary tasks. Okay, and they are good at understanding what actually the user requires from this AI product. So all these things put together, the women in AI actually makes a lot of difference, because AI does not require only the technology, it depends on different perspectives and different ideas too. And for all the women who are actually still thinking that do they belong in AI? Yes, the simple solution is yes, you do. So before I close, I wanted to say what actually is the real future of AI. As I said earlier, AI is not the future, it is only the amplifier. The real future is the human intelligence, human ethics, and human courage. AI will not create the human intelligence, but it can amplify the good ideas coming out of the human intelligence. It cannot build the trust, but at the same time, it can actually strengthen the systems. And it cannot build the courage, but actually it can amplify the outcome of the courageous ideas. The real question is not what AI can do, but the real question is what we can build with AI. Thank you.